Hi, I'm Jo. I'm a physio. I'm also a Pilates instructor and I love to run. So this is an exercise routine, all standing up, all targeted around our hamstrings and our glutes, and mainly aimed at the runners out there. So we're going to start with a bit of a warm up. So we're going to go feet slightly wider than hip width apart and angled out just slightly. I'm going to do some squats to begin with. So let's start with squatting up and down. I'm going to keep an eye on the time for this one. So we're going to do 30 seconds of squats to begin with. So from side on, almost imagining that you're sitting down onto that toilet, so poke your bum back and straight back up again. Knees stay wide, so you want your knees kind of drifting over that second to third toe as you're coming up and down. What we don't want to see is that slight veering in as we're squatting, so keep your knees nice and wide. And it's good to get that into that practice of, as we're lowering down, knees stay wide. Perfect. So the first exercise we're going to work into today is a split stance good morning. So one leg in front of the other. Let's start with our left. Back leg's up on your toe. Front leg's nice and flat. Again, thinking about that knee posture, that we're bringing it out over that second toe. Hips are in line with each other. Bending at your hip, so hinging at your hip, all your weight's in that front leg. Coming forward as far as you can. So that's about my limit with my hamstring flexibility here. And then you're focusing on using that bum cheek to draw you back up again. So hinging forwards, hands on your hips to help guide that movement. All your weight's in that front leg, and then hinging back up. Really what we're thinking about with that back leg here is it's purely there to help keep you balanced, but all our weight is in that front leg, predominantly in the heel of that front leg as we're hinging up and down, keeping your chest lifted and lower back nice and still as we're coming up and down. So this is called a split stance good morning. We're going to work through 3 more of these before we're going to swap sides and do the other one. 2, last one. And 1, good. Bring your feet together and bring your left foot back. Right foot's facing the front now. So what we're looking at is, as we're hinging forward, hips stay nice and level. That knee stays drawn out over that second to third toe, and then we hinge back up. What I don't want to see is, as we're hinging down, that knee, as we're trying to balance, to drift in like that. So really focusing on almost twisting that thigh bone and rotating it out as our bum pokes backwards in that hinge. Same principles, weight remains in the heel of that front leg as we're coming up and down. Use that back leg purely for balance as we're coming up and down. We've got 5 more to go. So what you should be feeling is a little bit into your bum cheek on that front leg, but quite a strong stretch pull feeling in the hamstring, the back of your thigh in that front leg. 2 more. Last one. And 1. Perfect. Feet together again. This time we're going to double up that exercise. So we're going to go into that split stance good morning. As we come back up, we're going to shift our weight backwards a little bit so it's even between both feet, sinking into a backwards lunge, back up, shift your weight forward, into that split stance good morning. Coming back up, shift your weight even between both feet, into a lunge, back up, into that good morning. So alternating between a backwards lunge and a good morning. So again, predominantly feeling it in that front leg. That's where we're working it, in that left leg at the moment. up and down, making sure that we're doing that slight transition of weight shift as we're coming back into that lunge, and then shift it forward again to the heel of that front leg as you're going into that good morning. Lunge, shift forward into your good morning. Our back staying really nice and still into both of these. 5 more seconds. 3, 2, 1. Bring our feet together, step your left foot backwards, and then we go straight into it. So weights in the heel of that front leg, in that right leg, into that good morning like we were before. Back upright, shift your weight back slightly into that lunge. Forward, good morning, back slightly, lunge. Perfect. Same principles that we're thinking about, that both hips are always facing forward while we're going through both exercises. Back stays flat. And just working through a range that feels comfortable for you. As runners, we don't have to be going into deep squats or deep lunges because that's just not the range that we work through while we're using those muscle groups. That if you think about that leg position while we're running, we don't get a huge knee bend in that push off. So we don't have to train massively into it. It's always good to be strong throughout the range that we have available to us. But it's also important to keep it specific to the sport that we're doing as well. So another 5 more seconds of these. To lunge and good morning. I can feel that my range isn't quite as good on that right side as what I was on my left in terms of that tipping forwards. 2 and 1. Again, bring those feet together. Step them out a little bit if you need to. This time we're going to go into a single leg deadlift. It's very similar to that same action, but now we're increasing the ante a little bit. If you're struggling with this one, continue on with the exercise that we were just doing. But for our single leg deadlift, if you do have something to hold on to, so a wall, a chair, but now we're on one leg, same principles as before. We're still hinging at that hip, our weight's in the heel of that leg, hinging forward until your hamstring stops you. Then we come back up. This time we're going to combine that single leg deadlift, then back into our lunge. So single leg deadlift. Oh, my balance is a little bit off today. I do need that wall. Up into that backwards lunge. Single leg deadlift, hinge up, sink into that backwards lunge. So very similar to what we were doing before, but we've just increased the complexity of that movement. We want to try and smooth it out as much as possible. So rather than 2 distinct different exercises, we want to try and keep it as a really nice, smooth transition, a smooth trajectory of that torso, hinging about your hip joint as we're going. And you can see I'm actually quite reliant on that wall today in that single leg deadlift. My feet just don't have that balance in them. Oh, I can really feel that right in my hamstring and in the back of that left hip at the moment. Got 10 more seconds of this one. 5 to go. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Both feet down, nice and solid, and then we could become unbalanced again. So this time on your right leg. Weights in through your heel, and let's start hinging forward, that single leg deadlift. Back upright, sink into that lunge, and straight back into that single leg deadlift. Same principle as when we're in that lunge or in the single leg deadlift. Keep that knee twisted in that outward direction. That's one of the best things that we can do to help protect the health of our knees particularly if you are prone to pain at the front and that runner's knee. And again, really try and smooth out that movement from the deadlift to the lunge. Perfect. 10 more seconds. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's get the last one in. Perfect. Whew. Shake that out a little bit, and then we're going to take a little bit of a different tack. So we're finished with that little series, and now we're going to do some stuff for more of our calf muscles, so in particular our soleus, which is that lower part of our calf that we use a lot when we are running. So we're going to go back into our squat position, so feet slightly wider than our hips and angled out just a little bit. We're going to go into a small squat, so it doesn't have to be a really big, deep squat that we're doing here. It's just a small squat. From here, hands out in front of you, keep your ribcage drawn in just a little bit. Lifting up onto your left toe, bring that heel back down, lifting up onto your right toe, bring that heel back down. So from front on, it's in that quarter squat, poke your bum backwards just a little bit, ribcage drawn in, lifting through one toe and then through the other. So we're going to do this for about 30 seconds and then we're going to up the ante on it. So it's getting used to that transition onto your toe. Really think about pressing the knuckle of that big toe down into the ground as you're lifting it up. We need that mobility in the big toe. It's really essential for running. That if that big toe is stiff and if you find that you're kind of rolling to the outside of your foot more, it then predisposes us to a lot more injuries on the outside of the foot. But also our loading mechanics becomes quite different as well. And I've just drifted up a little bit, so make sure you're maintaining that squat. You're not growing too much as we're going. All right, 2, 1, stay down, hold that squat, so maybe just readjust it if you need to. Shift your hips back just a little bit, pull that rib cage in just a little bit. If you need, keep your hands on your hips for this next one, by all means do so. Otherwise, have it out in front of you. We're going to rise up onto both tiptoes and back down, up onto your tiptoes and back down. So a little bit of a balance exercise as well as a bit of muscular endurance as we're coming up and down. Lower your shoulders a little bit. It can be easy to let them creep up as we're going through this exercise. So keep your bum poked, rib cage drawn in, up onto your tiptoes and back down. Another 10 seconds of this. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold in the up position. So you're up onto your tiptoes, keep your bum poked back, rib cage drawn in, that helps protect our lower back. Hold in that position. Hold it there. Oh, I've got the wobbles. Holding it, holding it. We've got another 10, 9, keep your knees wide, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower your heels down, arms down, stand back up. Shake it out. That's where we're going to leave it today. Hope you enjoyed it. If you found any of those exercises particularly helpful, then please let me know. Feel free to leave a comment, but also feel free to wind back and repeat those exercises again and again. Thanks for following along. See you next time.